Hi, it's Weiser Cornell, and welcome to Support for Stressful Times. We're here to create an oasis of community and contact and of being able to give time and company and contact to ourselves and to our emotional states. In stressful times, emotions come, and sometimes it almost feels like the emotions are what's stressing us. But I don't I don't see it that way. For me, emotions are an understandable response to what's happening. Not only what's happening outside of you, but also maybe especially what's happening inside of you. So you by sensing your emotional states, you get to know yourself better. And you learn more about what things mean to you and what matters to you. So I'm a big fan of emotions. Yeah, I was thinking about what I'm going to talk to you about today, and I was thinking about how we sometimes fight our own emotions. Are there emotions that you get sometimes that you don't like, that you feel like, well, that emotion is part of the problem? So anxiety is one example. People can sometimes say, I don't like my anxiety. I wish my anxiety would go away. Anger is another one. Do you ever feel angry, but also wish your anger would would go away? So it's very interesting about whether we accept our emotions or whether we don't. Well, let's start together with a little bit of inner sensing, because that's always such a nice way to connect here with each other, with yourself, inviting you to join me in just pausing now for a moment to feel your body. Feel your body support on what you're sitting on. You're probably sitting, but if you're lying down or standing, that's okay too. Your body's still being supported by what's beneath, and you can still feel what that's like. I'm feeling the floor through my feet and the chair through my seat. But it makes a difference when I take a moment to pause and notice that. Like I was sitting. It's not like I suddenly started sitting, but now I'm pausing and noticing the feel of letting my body be supported by what it's sitting on and what that's like. It's really different to pause and notice, isn't it? I feel myself breathing more deeply when I do that. Hope that's nice for you too. And then the next thing I'd invite you to do is let awareness come inward to the inner area of your body that includes your throat, your chest, and also your stomach and belly area. And ask yourself, in there, how am I right now? Now, to tell you the truth, what I'm finding in my body is spaciousness and a calm feeling. A lot of that is because I'm here with you, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you. But other times during my day, when I pause to do this, I might find a tension, a tightness, or agitation, anxiety, worry. Whatever you're finding in yourself, let there be a welcome for that. You might be finding more than one feeling inside. Like you might be finding some calm and also some worry, dread, agitation, heaviness, sadness, perhaps. Let's make a welcome for all of it. It's one of the most amazing things on earth that we don't have to have only one feeling at a time. You are the one who's welcoming and turning toward whatever you feel inside. You can say the words, I am sensing, and see how that feels to do that. I am sensing, and then describe what you're sensing. So notice if there's any obstacle or objection to welcoming what you're feeling. I noticed David wrote in the chat that he's feeling angry and powerless for good reason. Is there any objection to welcoming the feelings of angry and powerless? Someone else might be feeling anxious, scared, worried. Is there any objection to feeling inner objection, right? Any part of you that says you shouldn't feel that way, or it's painful to feel that way? When you feel something, notice if it's okay to feel it, or if you sense that something in you doesn't want you to have to feel it. Yeah, Bethany just wrote, I sense a nothingness. And there's something in me scared of feeling that. So you feel whatever you feel, and you're also potentially aware of something in you that's scared of feeling it, that doesn't like feeling it, that thinks it's wrong to feel it. I shouldn't be feeling so sad so many years after I lost that person. Is there a should about your feelings? And we'll just pause and notice that. And so what you welcome inside of yourself gets even wider. I'm welcoming this feeling, and I'm welcoming something in me that doesn't like it, doesn't want it, thinks it's bad, pushes it away. The circle of welcome becomes even bigger. And just notice if that feels possible right now. That you can pause and sense how you're feeling. Maybe just say hello to the feeling. Maybe just say, hello, I know you're there. Notice what that does when you can say, hello, I know you're there, to how you're feeling. And then if there's this counter feeling, the one that doesn't like it or doesn't want it, see what happens if you say, hello, I know you're there too. Yeah, take your time with that. Sarah writes, it feels strange that both are there. And I wonder if strange means it's kind of a new thing to do, to acknowledge something and something about it. Let's complete this little process we're doing together right now. Of course, in a way, we're always sensing, always noticing, but this is more like the official sensing inside. And I want to talk more about the concepts that I'm sharing here and also see more what people are saying in the chat. The idea is that however we feel, we can welcome. And that includes welcoming whatever in us doesn't welcome things. I learned this from Eugene Gendlin, who is the developer of the focusing process, when I was in my early 30s and I was assisting him to teach workshops in Chicago. He would say to a group, it's important to be friendly to whatever comes in you. And someone in the group would say, always, this question would always come up, but what if I can't be friendly to it? And then he would say, and I never got tired of hearing him say this, Gene would say, then see if you can be friendly to that. So, what if I can't be friendly? What if I can't welcome? What if I can't accept what I'm feeling? Then see if you can welcome and accept that. And it really does work. I'll just check in with the chat a moment. Let's see. Haja wrote, my body's feeling torpid and I'd rather not. There's a feeling of emptiness from one of my stresses having been released, but this seems connected with an anxiety. So what I love there, Haja, is you're connecting with a lot of feelings. The feeling of torpid, the feeling of emptiness, the feeling of anxiety, and how they're interconnected with each other. Lovely. And Elizabeth writes, I'm feeling uncertain and unsure as to all that's there. Great. Good for you for noticing that. Sharon writes, I feel turbulence from a conversation this morning that evoked memories of a chaotic period in the past. And I also feel a strong pulse in my chest from having described all that. Sounds like you're really, really noticing what these things that you're feeling are connected to, and also what happens in your body when you describe them. May writes, I'm tired, sensing under a heavy weight over me. Doesn't want to feel that, and I welcome both feelings. Wonderful. Yes, tired and a heavy weight, doesn't want to feel that, and I welcome both. Beautiful. David is responding, yes, there is a part of me that's very strong that doesn't want to feel anger and powerlessness. And that one needs acknowledgement. Beautiful. So we're noticing the part that doesn't want the other feeling is a critical part. Yeah, I would say that. So let's say you're having a feeling of some kind. And I'm going to say, let's say it's a stressful feeling, because the feelings of joy, expansion, fulfillment, they're not so often problematic. So you're having a stressful feeling, anxiety, worry, doubt, upset, anger, and powerlessness. And then something in you doesn't want to feel that. Well, yes, that sounds kind of critical, like you shouldn't feel that, or that's wrong, or if you were a healthy person, you wouldn't have these feelings. It sounds critical. But you know what? It's actually another feeling. The one that objects to the feeling you're having, that wants you to stop feeling it, that's tired of you feeling it, or that worries, well, it may be worried that other people will find you tiresome or something if they see you continuing to have this feeling again and again. So it seems critical at first sometimes, but it's actually another feeling. It's usually a feeling of worry about whether you will be okay having this feeling. So the part that seems critical at first is just as deserving of our compassion and curiosity and connection as another part that feels sad. And the real secret is that when you can be the one who makes a welcoming space for whatever's inside you, everything changes. You know, people sometimes talk about feelings as if they are objects, they're things, and they don't change easily. Like, this is my anxiety, this is my anger, this is my dread, this is my sadness. And as a person who studies linguistics, I noticed that all of those are nouns. Do you remember nouns and adjectives? So anxiety is a noun, anxious is the adjective. Anger is the noun, angry is the adjective. Sadness is the noun, sad is the adjective. So what would happen if we say, something in me is angry, something in me is sad, something in me is anxious, rather than naming our feelings as if they're things? It is an interesting thing to notice. What we know about feelings is they're understandable. They come as understandable responses to the interface between you and your life circumstances. Your feelings are not caused by your life circumstances. You contribute. It's you in combination with your life circumstances that generate feelings. And feelings are always in motion. First of all, one thing we can say about feelings is that they want to be recognized. So you have a feeling, whatever it is. It's angry, it's anxious, it's upset, it's sad, it's worried, and so on. It's irritated. It will really appreciate it if you notice that it's there and say, yes, I know you're there. So it's an odd thing to say, right? It's an odd way to talk, to say that feelings want certain things, like feelings want to be recognized. But try it, and I think you'll feel it's true. Including the fact that when you can say to a part of you, hello, I know you're there, you can probably feel that it relaxes a bit. Not always. Sometimes when you say, hello, I know you're there, it goes, yeah, like gets stronger right at that moment. Well, that's a response too. That's another way that part of you can say, I'm glad you're listening. I notice that you're here listening. Yeah. Lily writes in the chat, I feel very spacious and joyous this morning. And there's something in my right chest, stomach, and belly that's feeling tight, dark, and hurting. And I'm letting the hurting place know I'm here, and I'm letting a gentle hand go there. Wow, that's so beautiful. And what a great illustration of the fact that I can be feeling spacious and joyous. And I can be aware and acknowledging that something in me feels tight, dark, and hurting. And then Lily is letting a gentle hand go there. And I am sure that the tight, dark, hurting place is glad at some level to be recognized, to be accompanied, to be welcomed by Lily. They respond to contact. So emotional states are alive. And anything alive is in the process of change. And when you treat it with kindness, curiosity, and welcome, nice things happen. The process of change is more, what word do I want? I don't want to say it goes faster, but it's facilitated. And there's something very satisfying about being gentle and welcoming to our own feelings. Now, anger, the feeling of anger, something is angry, that one doesn't usually want to cuddle. If you try to cuddle your angry feelings, you might get, you might get a growl in response. But your angry feelings do want contact from you. They want you to say, hello, I know you're there, and I respect you. So David was letting us know in the chat that he's been reading about parenting and grandparenting in stressful environments such as Ukraine and Gaza, and feeling angry. at the wrongness of children having to live in terror. David, that's such a good example of the stressful times we live in and how our own feelings are evoked and awakened by seeing what is happening, even not in our own lives, but in this world, this interconnected world we're all part of. And that in you that feels angry and powerless, it's important. It might even lead you to take action when you discover there's some action you can take. So emotions make sense. They come in us. We turn toward them. We welcome them. And maybe there is an action. Maybe missing someone, the feeling of missing someone, will lead to the action of reaching out to that person. Or if that's a person who's no longer with us, to writing a poem about them or planting a flower for them. Emotions and actions are interconnected. Bethany is the one who told us she was feeling nothingness and something was scared of feeling that nothingness. And now Bethany says in the chat, oh, the nothingness is grieving. Wow. Then Bethany writes, it wants to be welcomed and valued. That's just a beautiful example of being compassionate and welcoming towards your feelings. And another thing I notice about Bethany's example is it felt like nothingness at first. But by staying with it, welcoming it, sensing it, she was able to sense, oh, it's grieving. And so the names that we're giving to our feelings and the assumptions we're making about what they are, we'll hold those with light fingers. Notice how when Lily described her feelings, it was in the body, the right chest, stomach, and belly. And she described it with physical descriptions like tight, dark, hurting. That's more likely to be accurate than names of emotions. But in any case, you are in contact with whatever it is and checking with it if the way you've described it so far fits. And then your sense of what you're feeling leads you to say it another way. Oh, the nothingness is grieving. And then when you find what fits better, there's a little sense of, ah, nice. So we're talking about the value of emotions and the great, great value of pausing to sense how you feel, including your body in that. Feelings felt in the body are more easy to welcome, more easy to contact, more easy to describe, and they change more easily. So when you feel anxious and the anxious fills the room, my advice would be pause and sense your body. How am I here right now? Throat, chest, stomach especially, but it could be anywhere in your body. How is that feeling in my body right now? How would I describe it? Many times I have seen people get calmer when they describe what they're feeling in their body. Somebody who's crying and very upset by something that's going on, pausing to feel in the body, maybe then feeling it like a heavy weight in the chest and a gripping in the stomach. And yet somehow that step of feeling it in the body brings a kind of relief. It still feels heavy in the chest and gripping in the stomach. And yet there's some kind of comfort, some kind of step of change. And you can feel there's something next. You say hello to what you're feeling. Hello, I know you're there. And if there's anything in you trying to make it stop and go away, you notice that and say hello to that. Because it is quite typical to try to not feel what we're feeling. Many of us learned that in childhood. Sometimes our caregivers even told us it's bad to feel that way, or told us to stop feeling that way as if that was in our power. So we internalize those instructions. Stop feeling that way, don't feel that way. That's bad to feel, that's wrong to feel. But in all my years of working with feelings and emotions and bodies, I've never found that it ever worked to tell yourself to stop feeling something. It's- It just means there's another part present that doesn't like it. So I still remember that wonderful thing that Jean Genlin said that day. If you can't be friendly to something, then see if you can be friendly to that. So that everything in you is valuable, worthwhile, precious. And all you need to do is take one more step from that, and you realize that you are worthwhile, valuable, and precious. And that even if there's some painful or difficult feeling that you're having, you are still okay. Isn't that wonderful? I love knowing that. David wrote in the chat, I find again that acknowledging the part that doesn't want to feel the uncomfortable feelings makes it easier to be present with those feelings and with not wanting to feel them. There you go. Yes, we're coming to the end of our time. Thank you so, so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure to spend this time in contact with our bodies, our emotions, our living process, and what it is we know. Come again. We do this every month. It's been great. Mwah. Bye for now.